So here it is at the Lee Valley Hockey and Tennis Centre, India. It's make or break time. They must beat Australia to have a chance of getting into that golden match. The Indian fans assembling, hoping for a little bit of history, but up against them, the mighty Australians. Those GB fans will be hoping for an Australian victory. Let's join our commentary team now, Cedric D'Souza and Ashley Morrison.
Thanks very much, Chris. Australia versus India to decide who will play in the final. Of course, if India win, they book their place alongside Australia. If Australia win, means that Great Britain's game against Belgium later in the day will decide who plays in the final. The umpires make their way out. For this match, we have Nathan Stagno and Koen van Bunge. Nathan Stagno from Gibraltar, Koen van Bunge from the Netherlands. And now the players make their way out. Raghunath and the captain for today for Australia, Aaron Zalewski, have been rotating the captaincy with regular captain Mark Knowles back home in Australia with his wife having just given birth to their third child. So the leadership group have shared responsibilities in his absence. India too have rotated their captaincy. We've seen SV Sunil have it, as well as Raghunath. We'll now pause for the national anthems, and the first national anthem will be the national anthem of Australia. And now the national anthem of India.
National anthem of India.
For those Indian fans who noticed that PR Srijesh was missing from that lineup, don't worry, he's actually standing for the national anthem on the bench, maybe getting a last-minute rub down before the action begins, but Srijesh is expected to start in the match as we look at the team lineups. Tyler Lovell will start under the bar for Australia. Their defence has been pretty resolute in this tournament, thanks to great defensive work by Tim Devon, Swan, Hayward and Philpott. Tristan White is amongst the goals, almost doubled his international tally. Flynn Ogilvie has been lively, and Beale and Gov as well, they'll look to add to Turner's tally up front. Srijesh will start under the bar, and Harmanpreet has been a revelation at the back for India. Raghunath too has been solid. Kottajit will look to get up the flanks today against Australia. He usually causes them trouble. The attacking forwards for India could be the key on counter-attacks. SV Sunil, Mandeep and Talvinder Singh. take a look at the substitutes. Chris Sorrello, we believe, will not be taking part for Australia. He has a hamstring and a adductor tear, so will not be playing any more in this tournament. But off the bench for India, Akashdeep could be a key player, and Chinglan Sana, who sat out the last 2 games as well, could add some spice in the midfield for the Indian lineup. Tyler Lovell making his way back under the bar. Has a twin brother. Apparently was a very talented cricketer before he focused his attention to hockey. India, one final huddle. These two teams so familiar, having played against each other so much in recent times. And they will contest the 650th Champions Trophy match. Australia push back and get us underway. Tristan White gets an early touch. Looking to be closed down by Mandeep. I'm Ashley Morrison, and alongside me in commentary, former Indian coach, now the coach of Austria, Cedric D'Souza.
Well, Ashley, I think today is going to be a humdinger of a match because India has to do everything to win. They know this is a chance to get into a final. They're going to be there and to prove to the world that they are strong contenders in Rio. They're going to come firing all cylinders.
Australia, you could say, could dictate who they play in the final if they sat back and India get a draw or a victory, but that's not the Australian way.
Well, they never let the legs off the gas. They keep on all the time, right from the beginning. They push themselves up. They know they make winning a habit and try their best to get, prove themselves they are worthy winners.
Well, we heard Graham Reid actually saying that the Australians never flirt with form. A legacy of former coach Richard Aggis and also Merv Adams. Graham Reid, who played in 9 Champions Trophies as a player and won 4 gold, 2 silver, 2 bronze. Not a bad return. Swan. Spent talking to the players. They like this blue strip that Australia are playing in.
Well, actually, also Australia has won this tournament 13 times, runner-up 10 times, and bronze 4 times. 27 times they've been in the podium. It's an incredible feat.
And it's in the 36th edition. Good pass forward, finds Harmanpreet. Harmanpreet can't get ahead of Beale, manages to sweep the ball behind, but good support. Philpott feeds Tristan White. Tristan White, who came into the tournament with 3 goals to his name, scored 2 in the last 2 games. Can he double his tally before the end of the Champions Trophy? Has been pushed further forward into a midfield role. Swan penalised. India looking to play on quickly. Comes to Manpreet.
Well, a nice high press by India right up in the pocket, putting a lot of pressure on the Australian defence in the pocket.
SV Sunil receives the ball wide. Just topped his ball into the circle. And it's Trent Mitten. Goes back to Hayward. Hayward, clever pass. And Orchard. Orchard to Mitten. It's just gone over the side. Now it's lifted across to Philpott. Philpott, who was saying to Michael Absalom pre-match how he's focused this year on his hockey. He is a qualified doctor now, and he's just allayed his move into the medical practice to concentrate on his hockey and give himself a chance to maybe get to Rio.
Well, the depth of the Australian squad is so fantastic. It's really difficult to say you're already in the team with the kind of players that they have, quality players that they have in their ranks.
It's okay, Herschel. Thank you.
Australia have only conceded 5 goals in the tournament, as we saw just come up on the bottom of your screens. And that is where India are going to have to really work hard to breach the defence of the Australians. I have to say, Cedric, you're a former goalkeeper for Mumbai, and Tyler Lovell and Andrew Charge have had really good tournaments, as we see Roland Altmans in the sunglasses on the side. I think he might be getting a nickname Bono soon. But Cedric, the Australian keepers have had a top tournament.
I think it's so difficult to choose between the two. in terms of form, in terms of how they've kept gold for them for their country, and how Graham Reeve is going to have a real tough one on who to choose for Rio.
The thing I always feel sorry for the two Australians, because they do rotate them, is often they miss out on goalkeeper of the tournament awards because they don't play all the games. And we see other keepers who've had good tournaments but have played every game, they get the accolades.
Well, I think it's not a question of the man of the match. It's important for them to feel that what's the team benefit, and that's what Australia is looking at. Always looking at team and not about individuals ever.
Good steal in the midfield for India. They get a chance to break forward now. It's Chinglan Sana. Numbers coming forward for India, looking for the run of Nitin Tamaya, but Matthew Swan got there ahead of him, but it will be a free hit to India. Nitin Tamaya, who was out for so long with a shoulder injury, looks to be getting back to full fitness and full form. Just couldn't keep that in play as it went over the baseline.
Well, the good thing is whenever there's a turnover, you find the Indian players really sprinting up forward, trying to create space, the defense moving up. So the lines are all in supporting one another. That's really good to see from the Indian team.
Kotaji looking for options. Nobody closing him down. Now Mitten makes a move towards him, so he goes back to Raghunath and then turns his palms up, saying, what was I supposed to do? There was nothing ahead of him. No movement from the Indian players. Kotaji still available now for Raghunath. Mitten will close him down and make it difficult, so he goes with the overhead pass, which is brought down well by Dawson. Fields it in play to Swan. Swan, though, under pressure immediately from Nitin. And then he fed Harjit, so it's back with India and back with Kotaji.
It's just the point we're talking about, Ashley. The Indian strikers doing so much of hard work, reverse pressing, getting back into defense as soon as possible, putting a lot of pressure on the ball carrier.
Harjit trying to sweep that ball. I think he was looking for Chinglan Sana. It almost went through to SV Sunil. The thing that worries me a little bit with SV Sunil, in the form of his life, but if you see the strapping on his hamstrings, he has so much tape on both hamstrings. I wonder whether he's being taped together.
Well, he's the guy who wears his shirt on his sleeve, his heart on his sleeve, and he just keeps on pushing for his country.
He certainly has found a great vein of form coming into this tournament. When his father passed away and he chose to stay at a tournament with India rather than return, he said it was his father's dream to see him develop as a player. Well, I think his father would be very proud of where he's at the moment in his career. India still possession at the back and look to break forward once more. Australia's attack just breaking down, nobody closing down Surrender. Surrender helps it forward, but sliding across was Philpott. Deep from the side, goes back to Surrender, drills it in, deflected off Tyler Lovell off Hayward. And they had to make that challenge because SV Sunil was just ghosting in at the back post.
Well, a good fire right through the circle, and you had Sunil on the far side, but Tyler Lovell does well to get that deflected ball from Jeremy Hayward out to safety.
Wouldn't have been a goal though, because it was no touch from an Indian player inside the circle. But you just have to react in those situations.
Especially now because the strikers are lurking at the far posts always, and the tipping balls, there's no offside anymore, so you just got to be aware of what's happening behind you.
Surrender wants to go all the way back to Raghunath. Just gone past the halfway point in the first quarter. Raghunath fires it in, but it goes past Lovell's goal. No touch from an Indian player.
That's the ploy India does quite often, looking for the Raghunath sweep slide right across the circle. It doesn't connect well enough. He wanted to put the ball towards the goalkeeper's left, but the ball goes on the right-hand side, right across the baseline.
Well, this is a huge game for India. They've only ever won bronze, and that was in 1982. A win today will guarantee them their first ever silver medal and possibly a gold medal at the Champions Trophy. So it is a huge game, Cedric.
Definitely, it's also, India has not been in the podium for years on the Champions Trophy, and I think it's important for them in their development process to start thinking about winning medals, just not winning in test matches, but at the big championships too.
Moore couldn't bring that under control, so it'll be Australia from the side. Eddie Ockenden plays it quickly, finds Mitten. Mitten has Turner ahead, just caught Turner unawares for a moment, but Ockendon's won the ball back. Ockendon trying to weave a bit of magic. Pete Surrender just ran away from Turner and he slaps his thigh in frustration, but it will be a long corner for Australia. Zalewski now comes out wide, helped forward by Belts, into the foot by Hayward.
Yeah, okay, there, thank you.
They're a little bit nervous. They know that Australia need to beat India as Mitten turns. First penalty corner of the match goes Australia's way. Must have just clipped the foot of the defender.
Simon,
Zalewski plays that ball inside, and and Mitten lifts that ball, and on that, Raghunath touches the stick and a penalty corner. I mean, there was no need for that, but it was a skill of Mitten to lift that ball flat, just over the flat stick of Raghunath, who hits the stick and a penalty corner.
Australia have won the third most penalty corners in this tournament. They've scored the second most. Can they score now? Hayward and Dawson Wade. These two were the two goal scorers in the Hockey World League final back in November. Comes to Hayward. Hayward sweeps. Srijesh saves it. Ricochets up into the air and will be a long corner for Australia.
Well, she did very well to get down low onto his left-hand side and pad that ball.
Belts firing it at the top of the circle, gets a free hit. Just Indian player at full stretch, Zalewski. Orchard is being closed down everywhere he goes, so it appears to me almost as if they pinpointed Orchard as a key player to nullify.
Well, it's a great injection, and Hayward has all the time in the world to flick that ball because Raghunath wasn't in line with that hit, and the ball played onto the left-hand side, and she just does well to get down.
Ockendon, she's out wide to Deven. Deven, short pass to Beale, into the circle, but coming out was Mitten. Ricochets up off an Indian stick, so it's Australia's ball just outside the circle. Forced again to go backwards by the sheer weight of numbers that India have in defence. Ockendon loses possession, and now India with Talvinder break forward. Danish Dalvinder has gone one way, but Talvinder went the other way, and it's a free hit just outside. Talvinder thought he'd won a penalty corner, but I think it was outside the circle.
That's on the edge. That's on the edge of the circle.
Well, the good thing is a steal by Talvinder and running up, pointing at pressure, getting into this as fast as possible the 25-yard line.
Manpreet, he was looking for a foul from Eddie Ockendon. Nathan Stagno very quickly said no, nothing. India possession again.
No hands.
Surrender under pressure, did well to keep the ball in play. Just left it behind for a second and feeds it down the line to pick out Davinder Valmiki.
Just be careful with the hands, one. With the hand both.
Srijesh's save from the penalty corner. Got his leg down really well. It's almost like that move you've shown me that you used to do, Cedric.
Actually, you're taking the mickey out of me, is it?
I would never do that, Cedric.
But India has scored a couple of goals from stealing the ball in the 50-yard line, and with the strength and the speed that they have up front, they're using that to exploit defenses. And we saw it a couple of minutes ago. It's exactly what Talvinder did. He tried to get into the circle, but he was surrounded by a host of Australian defenders and lost the ball. Otherwise, it's exactly the ploy they're doing.
Turner applying pressure, but Manpreet was in space on the right-hand side for India. He's closed down now by Daniel Beale. Manpreet, though, such a skillful player, and just as I was about to praise him, he's out of space and the ball goes over the side. Deflection comes from Pardeep Moore. Akashdeep feeds SV Sunil. He just uses some wizardry to take the ball away from Zalewski. Then he's capped running and receives the ball back. Hayward ahead of him. He's got Harjeet, feeds Harjeet. Harjeet across the deep, and it's just a deflection from Swan. Long corner to India.
to the middle. Come on.
Well, it's good to see the Indian
Further,
midfielder
further.
Harjeet Singh
On the 5.
leading up into the deep
That's
pocket.
okay?
Yeah, that's
Sunil
perfect.
actually
Okay,
telling
thank
him
you.
move up front to give space for Sunil to receive that ball.
A fascinating stat on the screen. Australia not scored a single goal in this tournament in the first quarter. They've got a lot more in the third quarter. I was told by one of the statisticians on one of the teams that that's the quarter they tend to get their goals, as Orchard and Mitten combine in centre field. Mitten was trying to feed the ball back to Orchard, but it was just a little bit too far ahead of him.
Nothing. Stick.
Zaluski, good challenge. SV Sunil looking to turn away from Devan, and card has been issued to Tim Devan. 2 minutes on the side.
It's a third one from the team.
Devan, the man who replaced Glenn Simpson and won a World Cup winners' medal in 2014 when Simpson fractured his foot. Good save by Lovell, coming out really quickly and closing down Akashdeep.
It was a fantastic ball by Sunil right into the circle, and Lovell does brilliantly well to cover the angle, come out forward, drive up forward, and deflect that ball into Akashdeep's foot. Getting in front of Akashdeep, who was trying to, just poaching there to tip the ball in.
Covers. P2 see the ball go off, surrenders, stick and out of play. Finds Mitten. Mitten trying to spin away from Harjeet, but Manpreet takes the ball away from him. We're in the final 30 seconds of the first quarter. Free hit to Australia, but he seems too interested. Going forward, I think they've got one eye on the clock, and we'll be looking to get over to the side and hear what Graham Reid and Paul Godoyne have to say from Australia. And Tushar Khandekar and Roland Altmans. And Beale hit the turf. Didn't seem as if there was anybody around him. Well, the hooter does go, and it is the end of the first 15 minutes. And India, well, they've taken it up to Australia, but there have been no real clear opportunities. Srijesh saved from a penalty corner, the first penalty corner of the match and the only one so far. But we go into the first break with a score that reads Australia 0, India 0. Roland Altmans putting the whiteboard up to show all the players exactly what he wants them to do. Take a look at the penalty corner again. Hayward at the second battery, pretty much straight down the middle, Cedric.
Well, I think, there was not enough pressure on Hayward. He had all the time in the world. And Raghunath's line is not there. You see, he's moving away from that ball. And Srijesh does very well to get down.
Graham Reid, can't hear what he's saying, but I think the body language says it all.
Just make sure that everybody is presenting all the time. Just when, especially deep in there, but also
what
down
he's
their
saying, I'm
pockets
sure
before their hard balls in.
He's probably aware of our cameras in there and
Get their heads
doesn't
down
want
so
too
they
much of what he's
don't
saying to
feel
get
they
out.
want to pass the ball. The other part is what you're saying.
Everybody listening to Roland Altmans intently. And Preet down on his knees, and Roland just wipes the whiteboard. Good to see so many Indian supporters here supporting their team. Going to go pitch side now because Michael Absalom has the coach of India.
Yeah, Roland Altmans alongside me there. You had the players' attention fully. What were you saying to them?
Yeah, well, I'm not pleased in a couple of ways. We are executing our game plan, so I try to make them remembering what we said in our team meeting before the game and try to improve that in the second quarter.
Where's that goal going to come from?
From that change.
Thanks, Mike. Roland not giving too much away there. Simon Orchard just stopping the ball, waiting. It's a very, very quiet atmosphere here, Cedric. It's been quite noisy here at the Lee Valley Hockey and Tennis Centre, but I think a lot of the teams here to support Great Britain who come up later, and they're a bit nervous. I think if Australia gets a goal, that'll change the whole feeling. Because Great Britain need Australia to beat India in this match to give them a chance of making the final. Transfer of play. SV Sunil just unable to get the pass.
Well, that's a fantastic transfer of play from Harmanpreet from the left and the right pocket. Switch right across the left-hand side. Kotaji picks that ball and fires the ball right down just missed by Sunil, but actually a great transfer play. And this is exactly how you're going to penetrate the Australian defence.
Good touch from Govers to Orchard. There's the table as it stands at the moment. Australia booked their place into the final. India, a draw will still give Great Britain a chance. It'll then go down to goal difference as to whether they can pip India.
Both.
And at the moment, they've got a better goal difference, so they would be okay. Orchard feeds White. White, who is turning into a goal-scoring machine. Dawson gets inside the circle, fires it across. Good defence, but played into the feet of Raghunath, who was standing directly in front of Kotaji.
Well, that whole movement started because of the quickness in the reaction of the Australian team when they got the ball. Quick pass, quick release, got the ball, came along the flight, played the ball inside, trapped by Kotaji. And it rolls onto the foot of Raghunath.
Harmanpreet, I think, got the first block, and then Kotaji just sweeping it into the captain's foot.
Good job, boys. Well done.
You know, the top nation of the world, when they have a turnover, they start that game so quickly. And this is exactly what Australia did. Didn't give Indian defence to regroup.
Blake Govers is out there. It's Dawson at the first battery with Orchard stopping. Govers at the second with Swan stopping. They go to Govers. Govers behind his back goes to Dawson. Looked as if it hit the post and ricocheted back out. Well, that was unlucky. A good variation from Australia, and only the post denying them. India counter-attack broke down very quickly. Now it's Australia with numbers. Orchard carrying it forward. Ogilvie to his right. Feeds Ogilvie. He's now got Mitten forward, and at the back post he's got Govers. Turner is there. Swept in. Good save by Srijesh. It's going to dribble. What a save off the line. Well, I can't see if it was Surender Kumar or Raghunath who actually dribbled it away. I think it was Raghunath. Well, Srijesh was beaten. Australia thought they'd scored, so a save on the line and hit the post in 1 minute.
Keep it clean, boys.
In that 1 minute, there was a ball in the 25-yard line of Australia, and then back into the 25-yard line of India. And Raghunath does very well when Srijesh blocks the first one.
And here's the penalty corner again. Well worked to Dawson off the post, and Australia just missing taking the lead. Dawson now on the ball. Feeds Turner, top of the circle. Turner trying to weave some magic. The best he can do is win another penalty corner for Australia.
Well, you know, the ball is actually slipped. You know, he does a backdoor pass. Blake does a backdoor pass to Matthew Dawson. Matthew Dawson pushes that ball right into the deep corner, hits the post and comes out. Normally, you know, the ball deflects in, or he's looking for a deflection man on the wide slider to get that ball in, but just bang on the post and out.
That's what you were doing in the pre-match demonstration, wasn't it, Cedric? Looking for the man at the back post, but we didn't have enough personnel.
3, 2.
Penalty corner about to come in. Govers again waits. Dawson at the first battery. This time they go directly to Dawson. Srijesh saves again. Swept away to Dawson. Picked up by Orchard. Orchard just helps it forward, but lifted it too high, and Govers couldn't bring it under control. Swept. Good save by Srijesh to his right-hand side.
Well, it's a good save by Srijesh because he gets down low. The ball is actually deep in the pockets. He just had to move his leg out. He's not being forced to make a save. He's just putting his leg out and getting it. It's not body weight, not driving forward. That ball has to go deeper into the pockets.
Almost 5 minutes elapsed in the second quarter on the final day of the group matches. Tomorrow is the day that matters, the finals, as Pardeep Moore plays it forward to Akashdeep. Akashdeep, good stick work from him. Loses out in the end to Dawson, and Dawson evades the challenge of Pardeep Moore, but can't keep the ball in play, but it was just helped over the side off an Indian stick.
Well, actually, you know, Matthew Dawson and Joshua Bells are two youngsters who are really strong in the deep defense. They get low, they're quick, and in their one-to-one skills of anticipation, interception are really brilliant.
Ockenden feeding Mitten. Mitten's been busy in this match. He's led Let go over the side, takes on Raghunath. Mitten feeds it to the top of the circle, helped across by Beal, back to Mitten. Mitten will get his shot. Srijesh blocks again, ricochets up dangerously. It's a fourth penalty corner for Australia.
Well, a great move by Australia. Mitten all the way, it's all his movement. Plays the ball, comes back, finds, takes a hit, but Srijesh is very well, reflex save on the right-hand side with the outstretched hand.
Trent Mitten would dearly like to go to Rio. His father went to Los Angeles in '84. His grandfather, Don, played against New Zealand in 1958, so was too late for the '56 Olympics when Australia made their first appearance.
There we go, get ready.
Wasn't able to get selected for 1960 when they went to Rome. Hayward is the choice this time. Hayward sweeps, stopped by Srijesh again. Ricochet comes back. It's come off the foot of SK Uttapa.
Well, the flick is through and hard onto the postman, and the postman, hits him on the foot after he clashed the ball.
So it will be another penalty corner for Australia. Can they make one of these count? Coming into today, 4 from 21, 19% conversion rate. Mitten has gone to the first battery. Hayward at the second. They go to Mitten. Mitten sweeps and Mitten scores. Australia have taken the lead. Trent Mitten gets his just rewards. He won the penalty corner and has been so lively in this opening half. Finally, Srijesh is beaten. Australia 1, India 0.
Well, the injection was perfect. And Mitten gets all the time in the world. He goes just round. He just shows he's going to flick to the left-hand side, and then flicks it hard and true. Just goes off Srijesh's outstretched foot and ricochets into the top corner of the net.
Graham Reid giving a round of applause from the side. Trent Mitten giving Australia the lead. India wouldn't have expected that. Mitten isn't somebody we see from penalty corners too often, Cedric.
Well, when you look at it, they've got a lot of depth in their penalty corner flickers. You've got Sorello, Blake Covers, you've got now Trent Mitten, Jeremy Hayward, Matthew Dawson. I mean, you name it, they've got 5 or 6 class flickers in them.
Got Kieran Govers as well, sitting back at home. He can do it as well when needed. So the ladder would move Australia even further ahead. It would be good news for Great Britain if they can defeat Belgium in the final match today on day 5 of the Hero Hockey Champions Trophy 2016. Ockenden, quick interchange with White. White's surrounded but manages to get the pass away from Hayward. The ball bobbling over Hayward's stick. White's come back to demand the ball back again. Mr. White probably in the form of his career at the moment. Ockenden. It's Hayward again in space. India sitting back over the top. Brought down well by Dawson. Dawson off the stick of Kintamaya. In fact, he was off the foot before it was off the stick. I thought it was going to be a long corner. Dawson lifts it back to Hayward. He's closed down by Mandeep. Hayward manages to evade the challenge and feeds the ball back down the side to Ogilvie. Dominating at the moment, 9 shots to 0 in favour of Australia. They've only got the 1 goal to show for it, though.
But that's not a statistic which Australia really is proud of, because they've created so many chances, they've taken so many shots, and Srijesh has been a blinder so far, saving so many shots at goal.
Chance, Beal comes across, it's ricocheted up, it's going to go in, and I think Zalewski got the final touch. So Aaron Zalewski gets his 2nd goal of the tournament. Australia have their 2nd. Srijesh a little bit unlucky as the ball ricocheted up off his pad.
Well, the important thing was that Australia kept that possession right through for such a long time. They had strung along about 10 or 15 passes, kept possession in the opposition 25-yard line. They got more numbers in the circle, and the ball played into the circle, ricochets off Harmanpreet's stick, goes up in the air, and Zalewski just taps it over a fallen Srijesh. The question is numbers in the circle and sustained pressure and possession in the last quarter.
Well, we're going pitch side now, where Michael Absalom has Trent Mitten, who scored the first goal.
I do. Trent's alongside me. Trent, your reaction to the first goal and the second one that we just saw go in?
Yeah, it's been a bit of tough work in that first quarter, but we're hopefully trying to score a few goals now that the game's opening up a little bit. Our pressure seems to be paying off a little bit.
You were just saying then, Zalewski always seems to be in the right place at the right time.
To stop the ball,
He certainly is. He's sort of big body in there. He scraps his way to the goal mouth every single time, so no wonder he scores all these tap-in goals.
Keep going. You're doing great.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you, Michael. Always good to hear from a goal scorer when he's got a big smile on his face.
Wait for it.
And Zalewski, who moved to Perth at the age of 13 and went to Aquinas College, made the state team at 15 and made his debut against India down in Bunbury and scored in the 57th minute of his debut when India were defeated 5-0. Since then, he's established himself as a key player in the Australian team. Raghunath, calm under pressure, goes back to Surrender Kumar. Hardeep closed down by Ogilvie, but still gets the pass away. India, though, have won it back. Now it's Manpreet. Can he create something? Tries the pass on the reverse. He was looking for the run of Akashdeep, but just too firm.
You know, that ball by Manpreet is absolutely a brilliant pass. He's looking for Akash to pull wide and looking for the lead to come inwards to the circle for that ball, because the defender is looking at the ball and running wide. So this is what is called ball watching or player marking. Difficult to decide when and what to do in a crucial situation.
Zalewski was trying to just play that pass in reverse behind him. Raghunath clears up at the back. Deep Maul closed down by Beale. Has to go back to Raghunath. Raghunath now hemmed in the corner by the Australian players. Is the skill. Australia appealing for shielding, but Raghunath gets away with it. Australia pinch possession and then hit firmly across the circle by Beale and out of play on the far side.
Okay.
Akashdeep with a good lead ahead of Devan. Has to go infield as Devan stays close. Then his pass is misdirected. Beale stops, finds Zalewski. Mitten with two defenders ahead of him. Looks to try and get in the circle. Got the free hit just off the foot. Played on quickly by Blake Govers. Govers goes to the baseline. Looking to fire it across. Came off a foot. Ricochets around, and it will be a penalty corner as Devan couldn't get the shot away.
Yeah, go on. What's that for? Just hit on the foot.
Well, apart from giving a penalty corner, they've got Raghunath gone to the sin bin for a green card. So their first wave runner is out. Probably Manpreet will do the first run now.
Raghunath was penalised for a stick check in there. There was a foot, there was a stick, there was a bit of everything.
Okay, Australia, you guys ready? Come up.
Guys, 10 seconds. 10 seconds. We need to
Van Bunga,
We start in 5.
Nathan Stagner trying to get the Australians to hurry up. Bill makes his way down to the baseline. Govers is at the first battery. Dawson at the second. They go to Govers. Govers sweeps. Srijesh saves. And it's swept clear by Kotaji.
No, it isn't.
Orchard playing on, gets another stick foul. Goes his way. Comes across to Ockenden. Ockenden fires it to the baseline. Collected well inside the circle, looking for a foot, but it was good play by Harmanpreet. Stick was low to the ground. Backed it away. Looked as if it came off an Australian foot, and Van Bunga agrees. Raghunath having to watch from the side for a couple of minutes for his green card. Australia really trying to stop India getting out of defence. Harmanpreet has to go with the aerial pass, and Pardeep Moore couldn't bring it down.
At times when India has a turnover, you can see the entire team moving up after conceding the second goal. They seem to be a little lackluster. They've got to keep on thinking and believing in themselves. They can. They must keep on pushing the lines up and not giving the gaps to the Australian team, which will they really exploit those gaps.
They need to find a way back into this match. We're in the final 4 minutes of the first half, and India could do with a goal before that break at half-time. Question is, where are they going to find it from? need to use the forwards. They've got potent forwards, there's no doubt about that. Nick Intermai, SV Sunil, Akashdeep, Mandeep, Talvinder, they can all run at pace, they can all score goals. It's just giving them the pass that will unlock the Australian defence. And even if they do, they've still got to beat Lovell or Charter.
Well, Australia playing with a three-man defence and not a four-man defence, pushing up more numbers.
Ockenden steals that Govers first time, goes back to Zalewski. He's looking to feed Belts. Dawson somehow kept that in play. Looked to me as if it might have just gone over the line. Beale with a reverse stick shot. Good save by Srijesh, and look who was there to try and keep that in play, Dawson. The Australians are so quick on the rebounds from the keepers.
The reason is actually because they have more people around the circle, around the D, around the goalkeeper all the time. Their ploy is when you get into the 25-yard line, get more people, more numbers in the circle.
Govers again, Orchard is square in the middle. He feeds Mitten, Mitten runs in on goal, look to lay it back for Beale. Unfortunately, miscommunication. But Trent Mitten is looking like he's in form today. Now SV Sunil, definitely a man in form, finds some space on the right. Belts came back, conceded. Well, he didn't concede the free hit. India were looking for it. It's a good play. Now it's Tristan White. Orchard calling infield. White takes on Raghunath and beats him. Feeds Mitten. Mitten now squares the ball across, but Harmanpreet is ahead of Turner. Kotajit helps it forward to SV Sunil. Good run from Devinder Valmiki. Can SV Sunil find him? Yes, he can. Now he has to beat, and that was almost a sublime pass to Mandeep. Well, first time it looked as if he was going to have to beat Dawson. Look at this. First time, sees the runner Mandeep, just can't get it under control.
A superb pass, you know, and you know, he sees Dawson flat down. He wants to put the ball over his stick, lifts the ball over. Mandeep leading into the space to receive the ball, going to the T-point to receive it, just eludes him.
Valmiki does have that ability, has great vision, and some of the passes that we've seen him make in various tournaments, Cedric, it's just amazing.
Well, you know, he's got some blinders of goals in the Hockey World League in Antwerp, and you know, he's grown from strength to strength, and he is, for me, one of the most complete players who can play in attack and in defense in the equal intensity.
One of the things I like about it is he absolutely loves playing. When you see him, he's always got a smile on his face, and he'll tell you he loves playing hockey. And it's always great, and that comes through, I think, in some of the players' games when they are playing.
Leave the ball as well, hey? Don't do it.
Just being told off on that occasion for taking the ball away. When the whistle goes, you should just leave it in hockey, otherwise you face a card. Mitten keeps it in play, fires it across. Good defence from Surender Kumar. Dribbles it along the baseline, creates a little bit of space. Now closed down by Josh Belts. So Kumar into the corner. Surender goes over the side, off the stick of Belts.
Well, that's one of the strengths of Surender. He has the ball in confined spaces with a lot of pressure on him. He keeps the ball, he doesn't lose the ball. There are very, very few chances taking the ball off him, especially when he's under pressure.
Well, at the moment, this is a good result for all the Great Britain fans. Coming to the end of the first half, we've still got another 30 minutes for India to fight their way back into this match. But the hooter goes for the end of the first half and the end of the second quarter. Trent Mitten giving Australia the lead in the 21st minute. 2 minutes later, Aaron Zalewski on hand to fire home a second. Well, Mike has the goalkeeper for India, Srijesh, with him as he walks off the pitch.
Thanks, Ashley, here with Srijesh. You've had a busy first half there, lots of defending to be done.
Yeah, actually, they're getting enough opportunities inside the circle, and I think our defense need to work really hard now because they are giving enough space for them to get in and take a shot. And eventually the rebounds, we have to make sure that we are clearing the rebound in a perfect way.
And you've got to score the goals up the other end as well.
Actually, yeah, we need to attack more on their side, and we should try to get more PC or a goal in this quarter.
Good luck in the second half.
Thank you very much.
So it's Australia who lead by 2-0. All GB fans will be pleased with that because that keeps their hopes alive of reaching that gold medal match. But at the moment, it is all Australia. We'll be talking about all the goals a little bit later on. See you after the break. Welcome back to the Lee Valley Hockey and Tennis Centre. Plenty of passion as India take on Australia in their final pool match. GB fans hoping that Australia will win this to give them a chance of the gold medal match. And so far, so good as far as they're concerned. India in all sorts of trouble. Well, just look at this. Australia, total dominance, surprisingly, because, of course, India still got plenty to fight for. 12 shots on goal, 12 circle penetrations, 55% of the possession, and 6 penalty corners. And it looks almost 0-1-0 in terms of the Indian side in all those stats. Don't forget, this is the first of 3 matches. Australia leading India by 2-0. Then at 6 o'clock local time, it's Korea against Germany. And then at 8 o'clock, Great Britain have that chance. If they can beat Belgium, and if the scores stay the same in the first match, then they will be through to the gold medal game. Simon Mates and Austin Smith watching this one. I've got to say, first and foremost, before we get on to the goals, I'm so surprised by the lack of intensity from India. They've got plenty to play for, but they just can't touch this Australian side.
Well, that's the problem. They just haven't had a look in, and therefore it's difficult to maintain the early energy. They did have some good interchange in the very beginning. Down either flank, there was some good pace. Sunil worked off both wing spaces, but they got so little. They converted it into virtually nothing, and consequently, once that then starts to fade away and you're just chasing the ball around, it's really difficult to recreate that.
Are you surprised, Austin? I thought, with so much being on this game, that you find a way.
Well, I don't think it's from lack of trying from the Indian side. I think the Australian side have just been so good. And what's so difficult for the Indians is that when they get the ball higher up the field, they just want to score straight away instead of keeping the possession higher up in their half and just keeping the ball on the end of their stick for a while. They tried to score on every counter-attack which they had, but the Aussies were well prepared and there were no chances there for them either. Yeah,
Australia taking the lead through Trent Britton. It could have been 2 or 3 by the time they finally did score this goal. Looking very sharp on the penalty corners today.
Well, it's not often that you see Trent Britton at the top of the D, to be honest. He's normally coming in for the deflection, but this one he picks it up well. Again, India are going to be so disappointed. We can see Raghunath there. He's coming out as the first wave, and he just veers off to the left. And for a goalkeeper, there's nothing more frustrating than to see something like that from your first wave runner.
And then you got a sense of how many would this be, Simon, didn't you?
Yeah, we talked earlier on today about, I felt that if India were going to stay in it, they had to be close at quarter time. But Australia just came again and again and again. In the end, Zalewski actually steals this on the line, but it had come up off Harmanpreet to start with as it was forced across goal. And it was just wave after wave of Australian blue shirts coming at the Indians. There were so many chances. Srijesh had a huge amount to do, but you did really think, well, this is now not a case of if, it's a case of just simply how many.
Yeah, there was a period where they just seemed as if the Australians were camped in the Indian half and they just couldn't find a way out.
No, that's what I said. When they get the ball on the end of the stick, though, they need to remain calm. And I know it's difficult when you're in that moment because you've been defending for such a long period of time. And especially as an attacker or midfielder, you get possession and you think, right, we've got to go to the other side and we've got to score. But that's really the wrong way to think about it, because the more Australia has possession, the more they are going to attack.
Yeah, it does sound a bit of an exaggeration when you look at the stats, but there were so many chances, weren't there, Simon, here?
Well, there really were. I mean, there was corners, Srijesh saving well with an extended left foot to start with, but it just came again and again and again. I mean, it's a good drag. It's a savable height for the goalkeeper, though. He doesn't have to extend. The one that actually goes in from mitten goes higher. That's a nice little reverse pass. Cedric D'Souza on our comms team calls it a backdoor pass, but that's off the post and could easily have been touched in.
I can't believe Mitten misses this, Austin.
Well, that's where we're more used to seeing Trent Mitten on the second post, but I thought he thought that was going to go in and just left it. He didn't want to be a poacher, but this one here was saved off the line by India, and really that was in the space of 1 minute that ball hit the post, and then the ball was saved by Utspa off the line, and really it could have been a lot more. So I think for India, they can be grateful that it's only 2-0.
Yeah, just looking over your shoulder there, I can see the Indian side are out there. They're just sort of limbering up there, having a conversation. Are they going to be psyching themselves up, saying, hey, we've got nothing to lose, let's go for this?
Well, yes, but they have to go to it with a degree of composure. So Austin just talked about the 2 Australian chances. The problem was that having had the ball hit the post, India then attacked with 5 men. They went down the end, they got close to the circle, but there was no recycling of possession. They just went for it, and they got turned over, and then it came straight back at them.
Well, let's find out what the message has been from the Indian camp. The coach is with Mike.
Yeah, Roland Altman's alongside me. Roland, you seem to lack a little bit of intensity in that first half.
Yeah, to be honest, the second quarter was the most terrible second quarter that I've seen in 2 years from India. I'm really pissed what I've seen, to be honest. I hope that we can change it around, but it has nothing to do with the real Indian team, and hopefully we'll show a different Indian team in the second half.
What did you say at half-time?
I can't better not reply that.
Thanks for your time.
Okay.
India to push back and get the second half underway. They have to grab this game by the scruff of the neck if they want to be playing in the final tomorrow. Belts brings it down. And Altman's not prepared to share with us what he said to the players, but how are India going to get back in this game, and can they get back into it, Cedric?
Well, the first thing is they've got to have more intensity, pushing up more numbers, build play, just not look for the counter ball, build play, that's important, because they have the elimination skills.
Ogilvie was looking for the free hit, appealing to Nathan Stagno. Roland Altman's shouting instructions from the side, far from happy with the way his team are performing in this match. And this is the key thing for me, Cedric. India managed to beat Australia in test matches, but they haven't been able to beat them in a tournament when it matters.
Yeah, you know, it's a question of nerves and how you handle pressure, and Australia are probably just trying out a lot of people in test matches and just not having their full strength in the big ones. So, you know, keeping all this, you know, their strength for the big ones. So actually, you know, you just can't tell. It's a question of performance on that given day. It can happen to any team.
There's a chance now as Talvinder picks up for India. Managed to get past the first defender, but Devan just getting a touch to take it away from him as he looked to enter the circle. We look at previous Champions Trophy between these two teams. Played 13, India have only won twice, and one of those was in 2014 in the third place playoff. They actually lost that game, and they didn't win that one. I mean, it was that was the last time they met. As we see, that's where I'm getting confused. They lost in 02, 3-2. They beat Australia in Cologne, and they also won in 1996 in Madras by 3-1. A long time ago.
Well, the last game which they played in the Champions Trophy was 2014 in Bhubaneswar, where India lost 2-1 for the third and fourth place.
That's right, that was the one I was getting confused with. India haven't beaten Australia Champions Trophy since 2002. Devan comes forward. Ogilvie trying a clever little help on. Turner picks up top of the circle. Back to Ogilvie. Ogilvie shoots. Srijesh saves. Lost the ball between his legs. Desperately trying to clear the ball. Whistle goes. Raghunath has conceded a penalty corner. Srijesh had lost the ball after the save.
Well, Turner does very well to post up, receive that ball, play the ball to Zaluski, is it? And then takes a shot at goal. But Srijesh was down quick.
A question for you here, Cedric. We saw Srijesh on his heels the other day. He falls backwards again with this one. And I'm not
well,
sure
you know, the ball was hit very quickly. He's actually off balance again. His body weight should be a little more forward. You know, but, you know, it's a reaction save. And, you know, in that scenario is where you are, you just throw your body for whatever it is and save that ball from going in.
Let's go.
Turner makes his way to the baseline. We have Govers and Dawson waiting again. Govers at the first battery, comes to Blake Govers, sweeps, hits the post again, came back and hit the foot of Kotiji, so it will be another penalty corner. Australia hit the post twice.
Come on, guys, come on.
Well, it's a great penalty corner, powerful fit, no pressure on Blake Govers at all. It's wide open and the ball just hits on the post.
Well, actually, Srijesh got a touch to that, so credit to the keeper. Looked as if it was directly onto the post, but he just touched that. Otherwise, it may well have been a goal. So will it be Govers again, or will it be Dawson? They go with Dawson this time. He sweeps, deflected off the runner. Srijesh comes out and bumps the ball away from Turner. Long corner to Australia. Lifted out wide. Brought down. Driving in to Dawson. Srijesh kicks again.
You want to defend it? Okay. One only. Okay.
The question is, was this play deliberately over the baseline?
Video? No.
No, they've decided against it, India.
Well, it was a stick check. You know, Dawson gets that ball, it gets into the circle, cuts along the baseline. There's a little dink over the stick. and then was touched on the stick and a penalty corner.
Two players, the first one and the second one.
And she just said very well and says, no, you know it's going to be refuted. Why lose the referral?
I think Nathan Stagner was saying there were a couple of things there we just heard on our effects microphone. So another chance for Australia from the penalty corner. Govers and Dawson await again. They go with Govers this time. He works it back to Turner. It fell behind him, and that will annoy Glenn Turner. Those are meat and drink for him normally.
Well, the ball is played, Turner, you know, he gets it. He's not low enough. The ball just goes off his stick and loses possession and loses and hits his foot and a free hit for India.
Glenn Turner, the man from Goulburn in New South Wales, will be frustrated. This is his first international outing in 2016. Just, as I say, the Turner of old would have got that under control and fired it past the keeper.
I think one of the skills on the baseline is that you've got to be low and you've got to be wide.
Ockenden, brilliant skills to just take that away from Kotterji. How he managed to change direction was phenomenal.
Well, the thing is, you know, is his elbow pushing out and pulling in. It's a short, in a very small space. He just spins.
Belts running to try and keep that in play. Lets one hand go off the stick, does well. Ricochets off Harmanpreet, long corner. Two balls on the pitch.
No pushing, guys, no pushing. Forget your hand.
This is the little bit of skill. The way he just changed direction there was outstanding. The defenders just went past him. Dawson helps it out wide to Hayward. Hayward slips it in. Ogilvie, good touch from him on the reverse. Ogilvie makes it 3. Well, too much space given to Flynn Ogilvie. No wonder he's smiling. He has Australia's 3rd goal, and he has his first of the tournament.
The ball played down to the flank. Ogilvie gets that ball. No pressure on him. A throw or nothing tackle by Kotterji. Get low, don't throw a stick. This is what we've been talking about. The ball goes flying through Srijesh's pads, and a goal for Ogilvie.
Flynn Ogilvie becomes the 7th goal scorer for Australia in this tournament. That's one of the differences between Australia and the other teams, is they get goals from so many different players, Cedric.
Well, you know, the thing is, actually, every player can either play attack or defense. You can see the amount of interchange of places. They move from the defense into attack and vice versa. All the time, they are complete players who know the art of defense as well as attack.
Brought down by Pardeep Moore. Is there a way back for India in this match, or are they going to possibly kiss goodbye their place in the final tomorrow? A hit pass from Mitten. Australia, though, managed to come out of defence, and now good pass forward. Ogilvie finds Turner. Turner deflects it wide of Srijesh. Well, what a passage of play. Moved so quickly.
Well, wishful thinking by Turner, I think, you know, because that ball, she is way back in his angle. There's no question of getting beaten on that post. It would have been better for him to trap that ball, control it, and take a shot at goal. She just was deep. He wasn't on top. You know?
Nikin Tamaya with Hayward ahead of him. He's a player who can do the magical sometimes when it's needed. Devinder Valmiki feeds Chinglansana. SV Sunil is out wide. Chinglansana has to come back to the right-hand side to Pardeep Moore. Good lead from Akashdeep. He gets the ball, belts those stick low down, just steals it away from Akashdeep, feeds it back to Dawson, and Australia able to play it out of defence. Mitten back helping out now. Ockenden had to double back as it was being stolen by Devinder Valmiki. Free hit to India. Really need a goal, and they need it quickly. Kotterji, top of the circle, fires one to the back post, deflected off an Australian stick. Long corner to India. Good spell of pressure.
But you're trying to go from the hotline ball, direct route one ball into the circle. Better to go around them because the Australians are blocking up the centre completely.
His defence shifting well. Pardeep Moore had a good lead from Talvinder, but Talvinder was chased by Hayward. Now they go back to Raghunath. Raghunath being followed by Turner. Raghunath forced to the side, managed to get a good pass infield to Pardeep Moore, but it's back with Chinglansana. Now it's stolen by Ogilvie. Ogilvie, one hand on the stick, trying to take it away from Chinglansana. Ogilvie into the circle. Will he check? Will he shoot? Fires it across. Srijesh saves with Ockenden in front of him, and India just play it over the baseline, so it'll be a long corner. A good individual skill being shown by Flynn Ogilvie. Swept across looking for Zalewski, but that was good anticipation by Devinder Valmiki. Now it's SV Sunil, fed it back to Akashdeep. SK Uttapa, he has SV Sunil ahead of him, leaves it behind for Akashdeep. Akashdeep looking to take on Zalewski, gets the free hit. Really just needed to be transferred a little bit quicker by India to catch the Australian defence, because Australia got numbers back behind the ball very quickly.
Well, actually, for a transfer, you got to not carry the ball. You got to play the ball faster. Let the ball do the travelling instead of running with the ball.
It's good anticipation, added defence from Devinder Valmiki. Mitten involved in so much, good skills shown by him. He's falling over. Now it's Ockenden. He has Swan in space on the right. Takes on Kotaji, looking for the run of Beale, but Beale was unable to bring that down and under control.
Well, actually, just look at that. The transfer play, the ball in the left pocket, play to the right-hand side, and in the circle in 3 touches. That's what you call about transfer. Quick release of the ball, vision and scanning, looking for your player in space.
Now there's a chance for India, saved by Lovell from Talvinder. Dawson calmly just takes the ball away as Talvinder looked to close him down now. Stephen trying to showcase his skills, but unfortunately for him, they didn't come off.
Guys, take it. Inside, please. Inside. Yeah, thank you.
Back to surrender. Approaching the final 5 minutes of the third quarter. Australia having added to their goal tally they had at half-time, courtesy of a Flynn Ogilvie goal.
Well, you look at Tyler Lovell at the last save by him. The ball is being played from the right-hand side towards the circle. There's nobody else, no defender there. He just sees one of the Indian players, and he closes out the space and comes forward to take that ball. He realizes he's like a kicking back.
It's being stolen away from Ockenden. SV Sunil has Akashdeep. SV Sunil will try and go himself, but he's topped his shot. I think he was just getting surrounded by Australian players and felt he had to shoot as soon as possible.
Be careful there. Be careful with holding down his stick over there.
Well, Sunil actually had a lot of space, but he tried to spin around and then was closed very quickly by the Australian defence, and he hit the ball on top, the ball right on top, and fluffed this hit completely.
Danish Mustaba has Pardeep Moore outside of him, finds him. Pardeep fires it across the D. Akashdeep frustrated with himself as the ball just bobbled over his stick.
You know, Ashley, I think that's a ploy by many of the teams today in the world, looking for a ball across the circle. They try and lift that ball slightly raised above the flat stick, and that's difficult for the striker to trap that ball cleanly. So you got to be deflecting that ball instead of trying to trap that ball.
Danish again has to go back to Harmanpreet. He tries an overhead diagonal pass that picks out Surrender Kumar. Good pass forward now for SV Sunil. Sunil is looking to take on Hayward. Short pass looking for Talvinder. Talvinder, though, can't get the touch and swings dangerously. And so it'll be a free hit to Australia. Swan now feeds Orchard. Orchard looking for options. Just a little tuck pass infield to Ockenden. Comes to Swan now. Swan again creating some space. Mitten involved, but loses out to Talvinder. Raghunath feeds it to Danish. Harmanpreet to Pardeep. Once again, the passing allows Australia to get numbers back behind the ball and start setting up their defensive lines. Mandy receives wide, now looks to run towards the baseline. Deflected wide. Well, it was deflected towards Lovell's goal. It's going to be a long corner. Needs to be pretty much central. It's a long way over from where they've placed the ball. And if that's directly where it went out of play, I'm not too sure. Into the circle it goes. Tyler Lovell off his pads, deflects into the player. So it will be a penalty corner for India, their first of the match, and here is a very good chance for them to get a goal.
Well, a great cross ball into the circle, and Devendra Malviki right in the right place, in front of his defender, deflects the ball, goes onto Lovell, balls back onto his body, and a penalty corner for India.
India, believe it or not, have won the least penalty corners in this tournament. Just 11
Well done, boys.
they've managed to win. They've got Harmanpreet and Raghunath, both very, very good exponents of the drag flick. We'll see whether they can convert this time. Harmanpreet at the first battery. Nikin just moves slightly to his left. It is going to go to Harmanpreet. Never really got hold of that, and whether he was looking for the deflection from Mandeep, I'm not sure, but there was no pace on the ball at all.
And you can look at it, there's no pace because Joshua Belsu was the post. He just comes forward and sweeps the ball, cricket style out.
Danish, good dummy from him. Danish across the D, it goes again. Beale is there to clean up. Now it's Belts. Belts looking for options on the right. There weren't any for Australia. Orchard closed down by Danish, had to go back to Zalewski. And now it's Dawson again. Calm as you like at the back. Back to Zalewski. Swept across the defence to Hayward.
Well, actually, from a coaching manual, I think when India loses the ball, the quickness and the reaction to get back in defence towards the ball side is so important, not allowing the centre post.
It's going to be danger, but Harmanpreet cleans up because waiting was Govers and Beale. There's Australia's circle penetrations. They've had plenty of them, Cedric, but mainly coming from the right-hand side.
Well, 8 from the right-hand side, you know, and 4 from the centre and the left. They're mixing it up and stretching the Indian defence as much as possible.
Belts. Manpreet picks up for India. Comes forward to Mandeep, deflected towards the goal, but Lovell deals with it with ease. Mandeep just not getting a decent touch on the ball. It's fired in from outside the circle, and Lovell lets it go. Danish hoping one of his teammates would get a touch.
Well, actually, again, you have the ball in the left pocket, right pocket. Switch the game, change the point of attack. The defense is standing in the same zones, same lines. If you don't move them, you won't find the spaces.
Swan helps it forward. It's been stolen by India, and Devendra Valmiki is fuming as his stick was lost. Tristan White is apologising. Haven't seen a card issued. I think that's what India were hoping for.
Outside.
Well, it was inside 25-yard line with a penalty corner for India.
I'm watching the hands, eh?
Swept into the circle, Nikin Tamaya into the feet of Hayward. It will be a second penalty corner for India. Goal now is really important if they're going to fight their way back in this match.
Well, this slight sweep by Raghunath into the circle is exactly what it is. You know, it shows right, it goes to the left-hand side. Nikin Tamaya posts up, deflects that ball onto the foot of Jeremy Hayward, and a penalty corner for India.
15. Thank you.
Can India pull a goal back? Roland Altman's looking in from the side. Right, Valentin Altenberg just walking behind him up into the main stand.
2,
Germany are up next against Korea. Harmanpreet and Raghunath. It comes to Raghunath at the second battery. Sweeps deflected. It is going to be a goal for India. They have a lifeline. The final minute of the third quarter, still 15 minutes to come, but Raghunath has given them hope.
Well, a nice penalty corner because there's a lot of power, there's no pressure on the ball. Ball actually goes off Matthew Swan's first stick and it beats Tyler Lovell completely because a deflection, you have no chance in the goal.
Raghunath gives a thumbs up. Can India find a way back now in this match? 2 draws when they've met in Champions Trophy fixtures in the past. Can they get a draw out of this, having been down by 3-0? Beale turns and feeds Hayward. Will Australia just come back immediately and restore that lead? Looks as if they could well do as Turner creates some space. Sreejesh saves and it's in. And it is another goal for Tristan White. Although I think there's going to be a referral from India.
For the team player. Blocking. Yeah. Tennis player. Body or stick? Stick. Okay. Thank you very much for the information. Team referral.
Stagnant going upstairs to Dion now.
Okay, Dion, you're there?
I hear you.
Right. India is asking to check the number 4 player of Australia that is blocked the defender.
So they're looking for an obstruction.
Obstructed
circle,
the defender.
We'll take a look.
So Glenn Turner on the ball there, taking it away from Pardeep Moore. Question is, does he shield the ball with his stick? Hard to see from those angles. This might give us a better view, Cedric. What do you think, Cedric?
I think it's a goal all the way.
Yeah, go ahead.
There is no clear reason to change your decision. India lose their referral.
So Tristan White gets his 6th international goal, his 3rd in 3 games. Australia go into a 4-1 lead. Turner swivelling, saved by Srijesh. White is there, pokes it under, gets a 2nd touch into the goal. Well, incredible. Tristan White has doubled his international goal tally here at the Champions Trophy in 3 games.
Well, actually, again, you know, there's a triad on the Indian goal, and you have Australian players always around the keeper all the time.
Well, the hooter has gone, and that is the end of the 3rd quarter. Tristan White cancelling out the goal scored by Raghunath just a minute earlier. And it means that Australia go into the final break with a 3-goal lead. Australia 4, India 1. Tristan White, not surprisingly, smiling. On his Facebook page, he already had people putting up pictures of him with one of his first goals because they're so rare. But now he's playing further forward, Cedric. He's getting far more opportunities. And the key thing is he's putting them home.
I know he's uncanny because, you know, for Jelly Bears, he plays normally in the midfield or in the defense, basically. And you look at it here, when the ball is hit, if this ball is played through Srijesh's patch, Ogilvy has all the time in the world to score that ball in.
Raghunath scoring a goal for India late in the 3rd quarter. And then this is the final goal. Turner doing well at the top of the circle, spins and shoots. The ball got stuck under Srijesh. White got a touch and then just helped it over the line. And that will annoy Roland Altmans, and he looks very annoyed down there because his team gave themselves a lifeline. They got it back to 3-1, and then within a minute, they're back to a 3-goal deficit.
Well, you know, if you look at what Srijesh said at halftime also, he says he needs to get his defenders stronger from his rebounds. And he made that first save, and Tristan White was lurking in front of him, nobody else there, getting wide in front of Tristan White. He pokes the ball, then slips the ball home.
The crowd is beginning to fill up. That man is still flying the flag for his country. But it looks as if it may be a bridge too far. Coming up later today, when the next game is Germany versus Korea, that could have a bearing on the final standings on the league ladder. And then the big one, Great Britain versus Belgium. Great Britain need to win to play Australia tomorrow in the final as India push back and get the final quarter underway. Trailing by 4-1 against the world champions. Dawson. Turner. Free hit goes India's way. Good skills from Dawson, just flicking that up, catching it one-handed. His mother, Trish Dawson. Sorry, not Trish Dawson. Yes, Trish Dawson. She played cricket for Australia. In fact, both of them made their debuts against India in their relevant sports. Covers a long way back.
Hold up, wait. Thank you.
Mate, Govers must be itching for a goal. Hasn't had one since the 2nd game against Germany.
You're running into him.
Ogilvy Frustrated that he couldn't keep that in play. And Reid watching on. He said pre-match that Australia doesn't like to flirt with form in tournaments. They like to try and continue their winning ways, as SV Sunil looks to fire it across the circle, but
no.
it's
We go that way.
lifted dangerously.
Here.
Dawson looking to play out from the back, finds Philpott. Free hit goes against Philpott. Danish looking to get on with play quickly for India. He's left the ball behind. South Korean players rather arriving along with the German players. That is the next game, Korea versus Germany, as White now doing defensive duties for Australia. Cleans up at the top of the circle, now feeds Turner wide. Good run from Ogilvie as White has fed the ball and surrounded by 4 white shirts of India, but still managed to pick out Orchard. Orchard played the ball forward, but off Manpreet's foot, so a free hit to Australia. Manpreet not happy with the decision, and Orchard lifts an aerial to Dawson. Dawson beats the first defender. Dawson into the circle, looks to lay it back to Turner. Turner shoots, rebounds off Srijesh's pads, and Surrender has to clear it away.
Yeah, perfect.
Well, Turner was very quick on the turn, and he just sees there's not enough time to lift his stick. He just pushes the ball towards the goal, and she just has well to close his pads.
Great deflection from Ogilvie, was looking for Turner behind, but Raghunath was alert to the danger, dribbled it out of defence. Now it's SV Sunil. Sunil, good little pass infield to Danish. Danish looks to spin away and feed Manpreet. He's got Kotajit wide on the left and now feeds him. Running up forward is SK Uttapa. Kotajit will spin back infield and then feeds the ball across to SV Sunil. Sunil looking for options, feeds it to Manpreet, top of the circle. He's closed down, the ball will come to Talbinder, and it's a great touch by Mandeep to deflect it past Lovell. India have got a second goal. Is this the comeback their fans have been waiting for? Roland Altman's applauds.
Well, it was good passing by India. They held the ball for some time, kept moving the Australian defence, and you know, Mandeep was actually free. I think Simon Orchard, the culprit, not marking his man, completely free on the far post, comes in and deflects the ball past Lovell.
That is Mandeep's third goal of the tournament. It gets the applause from his coach. A well-structured goal by India. So Mandeep and Tristan White are level as the top scorers in the tournament, with Tobias Hauker and Ashley Jackson from Great Britain, all on 3 goals. And if India can find another goal quickly, we can have a very exciting final quarter. They're on the break now. Akashdeep feeds it to Devinder Valmiki. Now it's SK Uttapa. Uttapa feeds the goal scorer Mandeep. Mandeep fires it across the deep. Deflected away.
Well, that's good thinking by Mandeep to hit that ball inside when there are a lot of Indian players in the circle. But Matthew Dawson does very well by just deflecting that ball out instead of trying to trap it when there's so many players pressurizing him.
Harmanpreet over the halfway line he goes. No one closes him down. Comes back though now to Raghunath. SK Uttapa in space in the centre of midfield. Closed down quickly by Ogilvie. Has to go to Harmanpreet. Harmanpreet confident to run with the ball. Swept across the pitch by Kotajit. Picks out Pardeep Moore. Fires it to the top of the D, and that was again a key intercept from Matthew Dawson, as the ball was just about to go back through to Mandeep.
It was a great dummy run by Danish Mushtaba.
Stolen back by India. Sorry to interrupt. Cedric looking for the deflection, but just didn't get the touch. Mandeep, though, in a really good position. Credit to him.
Well, if you look at that ball coming through, Danish Mushtaba makes a great dummy in top of the circle for the ball to go through towards Mandeep. But Dawson, absolutely brilliant. The next one, of course, Mandeep had all the time in the world, but he was slightly away from the ball, a little more towards to the penalty spot, and he'd have got that, tipped that ball in.
SK Uttapa showing some good skills, the man from Karnataka. Mandeep does well. Closed down originally by Ockenden, but free hit goes India's way. SK Uttapa into the circle, takes it to the baseline, looking for a foot, just taken away from him. Devan helps it forward. Kotajit keeps it in play. Just see India just look like they're mounting another attack. Mandeep has come back, goes to Kotajit, he swivels, gets a free hit off Ockenden. SV Sunil trying to get on with things quickly. We'll cross down to Michael Abson for a quick catch-up because he has Chris Sorello with him.
Thanks, Ashley. Chris, we'll just pick your brains on how you think this half's going.
Yeah, the half, yeah, it's end-to-end. We've had a good opportunity, and they've had some good opportunities. They scored, then we scored. So, yeah, India have got a bit of momentum, I think, at the moment, and I think we're pressing out as well as what we'd like, but I think there's still another 8 minutes. So, and 4-2, you know, India are going to throw everything they can at us, that's for sure.
Any update on the injury as well? We know you're not playing today.
Yeah, I actually ran today, so I'm pretty happy with that. So it's going, yeah, just take it as it comes now.
Okay, good stuff. I'm going to swap jackets with you because this one looks just like mine. Thanks very much.
No worries, good luck.
Into the circle it goes, thanks Mike, but again Dawson is there to clean up for Australia. Mitten now picks up on halfway, has Turner in support. Surrender going with Mitten. Mitten looks to check back and go inside him. Then good defensive play by Kotajit coming back to support. Turner trying to get the ball, but good running from Pardeep Moore. Stopped Turner getting a clean run at the ball.
Well, it's actually getting inside into the hot line and getting into the zones which are the most dangerous balls. And he does very well for getting in, cutting in hard and not giving Turner any space.
Raghunath getting involved with plenty. SV Sunil hasn't had the impact we've seen him have in other games in this tournament. Australia would be well aware of his danger. So many of the Australian players playing for the JP Punjab Warriors, the same franchise as SV Sunil.
There's no advantage, play on.
So it's a free hit to India. Can they get another goal?
There. Thank you.
And make this a really fascinating final 5 minutes or so. Manpreet back to Raghunath. Raghunath tries to spin away from Mitten. Now he feeds it to Surrender. Surrender drills it in, but that was too high. Swan did well to get his stick on it. Australia in no hurry to take this quickly. Roland Altman's looking a little bit frustrated on the side. I thought he'd seen it all before, having coached Pakistan and the Netherlands on 2 occasions. Now it's Akashdeep. Talvinder's made a good run forward. Chinglansana picks up Dawson, though. Gets there ahead and just lifts it away from Chinglansana. What a game Matthew Dawson is having.
Well, you know that ball from Akashdeep, they had no ball speed on it. So Chinglansana had, Matthew Dawson had all the time in the world to get the ball before Chinglansana could receive it. The ball speed, why have a 50-50 chance? Why give the defense a chance? Ball speed is critical.
Raghunath with Blake Govers in attendance. Govers gets a touch. Raghunath has to check back. Now it's Surrender, comes to Pardeep Moore. Infield looking for Danish. Danish under pressure from Philpott. Govers trying to get a touch. It's one back by Australia. Now it's Philpott for Australia. Looks to feed Govers. Good recovery. Pardeep Moore, and now Kotajit can pull away and create something for India. Looking for Manpreet. Devan read the pass brilliantly. Got a touch. Zalewski now feeds Beale. Beale tries to cut infield. Devan picks up in the circle, but it's a free hit to India. India complaining that Australia knocked the ball away. We're about to enter the final 5 minutes. Pardeep Moore being forced back by Mitten. Mitten just stealing it as Pardeep Moore hesitated. Now it's Blake Govers, top of the circle. Blake Govers looking to go on the reverse. Pardeep Moore, though, recovered well, plays on quickly. Feeds it out to Manpreet. Manpreet getting more and more involved in this final quarter than he has in the game. Nitin Tamaya cutting infield. Turner's lost his stick. In fact, it was Swan.
Play.
Top of the circle, it's still bobbling around. Nitin Tamaya trying to get a shot away. Swan, good block, having got his stick back in his hands.
Goalie, okay?
Well, the good thing is there was sustained pressure by India, trying to push themselves into the circle to track a shot at goal. The ball bobs up. And Swanee does very well, actually, put that stick down flat, and Timaya hits him on the stick, and a free hit for Australia.
Orchard looking to play a short pass to Ockenham, but it's been won back by Raghunath. Chance for India, and I think Devan may get a card when this passage of play breaks down. Nikin Tamar looking to feed Danish. Danish at full stretch, gets the ball under control. Into the circle he goes, still has Swan to beat, looks for the foot and gets Blake Govers' foot.
17.
And here may be the card for Tim Devan.
Yeah, 17. You go, Zelensky.
In fact, it was Zalewski, not Tim Devan.
5 minutes foul ball, 5 minutes.
There's some more time.
A yellow card. So Zalewski, it's in fact Zalewski, not Tim Devan. So Zalewski will play no further part.
All right, 10 seconds, boys, well done.
Chance for India
right,
to narrow the gap
4,
even more.
Get ready.
They really
Wait
need to take this and make sure they score. Raghunath and Harmanpreet wait, goes to Raghunath, straight into the first runner, Trent Mitten, so it'll be a retake. Pressure mounts here at the Lee Valley Hockey and Tennis Centre. Great Britain will be keeping an eye on this match.
Boys. Come on. Perfect.
Manpreet goes down to the baseline to push in.
All right, everybody ready?
Harmanpreet
Wait,
goes to the first battery. Nikin Tamar will stop. Raghunath at the second with Danish. Nikin just moves to the left. They stick with Raghunath. Raghunath sweeps, Lovell saves, ricocheted, and eventually it was cleared by Belts. But it will be from the side. So Lovell well placed to save. India play on quickly. Comes out to Devinder Valmiki, sweeps it onto the left-hand side. Harmanpreet into the D it goes, deflected away. Good defence again by Dawson, keeping the ball away from Nikin Tamar. One back by India, deflected, and it's Tyler Lovell who saves again. And then the free hit goes against India, and I think Nikin Tamar.
Do you need anything, or? All right, mate, just take your time.
Well, there is plenty of excitement in this match. It may be 4-2 to Australia, but India are throwing everything at them.
Well, you know, this penalty corner, if you look at it, it's a great run by Dawson there, and Tyler Lovell is very well to get low and pat that ball, and a great save back by Belts, who pushes the ball out to safety.
Stay.
You're right, Ashley. There's so much happening in that last quarter, in the last couple of minutes in the Australian half and in the D.
I just wonder why it's taken India so long to come to life. SK Utupa on the ball now, feeds it to Nikin Tamar. Nikin Tamar showed too much, and play on is the call. He felt he should have got a free hit. Australia were looking for the free hit too. Now it's SV Sunil. He's got inside of Swan, but Swan recovers well. Sunil fires it across the deep.
It's more than 5 meters. More than 5 meters away. He made the effort to stop it with the ball.
And Roland Altmans is having a conversation with the umpire on the far side of the pitch. Not happy, but I would have thought there was a pretty good advantage for India. Harmanpreet stolen possession. He drives into the deep, plays it across. Lovell saves under the pads and over the baseline off Tristan White.
Yeah, he lost it. They lost a referral. They lost a referral.
They lost the referral. There's no referral.
So India wanting to refer. They haven't got their referral left. Nikin Tamar is going, when did we lose it? Great run from Harmanpreet, though.
You're low, eh?
Well, you know, it's sustained pressure by India, and you look at it, India's putting more numbers up front. When Australia has the ball, they've got over the 50-yard line, so basically there's pressure on Australia.
Just joined us, India lost their referral when Tristan White scored his goal. They went upstairs feeling that Glenn Turner was shielding the ball. Great intercept by Beale. Now it's 3-on-3 for Australia. Govers goes back to Beale. Raghunath has to cover him. Beale goes on the backhand. Across the goal it goes. Deflected over the baseline by Surrender. It's a long corner to Australia. Deflected into the circle. Beale gets it again. Beale shoots. Good touch from Srijesh.
Well, Srijesh, if you look at him, as soon as the ball comes in the circle, he's always taking a step forward to try and pat that ball, to narrow the angle. And look at him again. He's taken one step forward, extended left hand, out.
%62% possession in favour of India in this final quarter. Just shows how dominant they've been. Really taken the match to Australia as Raghunath feeds Danish Mushtaba. Really need to get another goal quickly. SK Utupa helps it forward to SV Sunil. Belts follows him to the corner. Sunil comes in. Long corner to India.
Go in the back,
Yeah, got the back.
And now in the final minute.
I'm here.
And India are going to have to wait and see what happens in the game between Great Britain and Belgium. Lovell comes out. Long corner as Gubbers let that run over the baseline. SK Uttapa goes back to Raghunath. Raghunath deflects. Came off Hayward. India wanting a penalty corner. Long corner was the call from Kunvan Bunga.
Well, you know, it's great for India because they're pushing
SV Sunil, well, he turns to shoot, and this time again it's a good block just as he was swinging his stick.
Well, India can go with their heads held high in this match because they've really pushed Australia to the brink in the last quarter, put a lot of pressure on them.
Come on.
A good tackle at the top of the circle on Manpreet, and Swan is taking the ball down into the corner, and the hooter goes, and Australia have managed to maintain their winning ways here at the Hero Hockey Champions Trophy 2016. It looked relatively easy early on, but India fought back hard. Raghunath gave them hope when he made the score 3-1 in Australia's favour, and Mandy pulled it back to 4-2, but goals from Mitten, Zalewski, Ogilvie, and another one to Tristan White there on your screen. The man of the moment, 3 goals in 3 games. He's now amongst the top scorers in the tournament. Final score, Australia 4, India 2.